Here's integrated 3. It's problem 7-35. And it says Ryan has the chicken pox. He was told that the number of pock marks on his body would grow exponentially until his body overcomes the illness. He counted 60 pock marks on November 1st, and by November 3rd, the number had grown to 135. To determine when the first pock mark appeared, he needs to write the exponential function that models the number of pock marks based on the date in November. So this is the problem that I did this in class, but if you missed class, then here it is again. So letter A says Ryan decides to use the points 1, 60 and 3, 135 to write an equation for the exponential model. Use these points to write the equation of his function in the form y equals a times b to the x. So I'm not sure if you would just pick up easily on how to use these two ordered pairs to get the equation. So that's why I'm just spelling it out for you here. So you're going to have to do this a lot. When you end up, we know that it's y equals a times b to the x, and you have two different ordered pairs. If this were linear, you could just use y equals mx plus b, and you could find the slope, and then you could plug something in and get the y-intercept. But this one is an exponential, so I think the fastest, easiest, most direct way to do this is to write two equations, one for the first ordered pair and one for the second ordered pair, and then just do a system of equations. You can do it pretty fast once you get used to it. So I'm going to plug in the 60 for y and the 1 for x over here, and then I'm just going to do the same exact thing over here. You can just see what I'm doing. I'm plugging in the y and I'm plugging in the x, and I get these nice two equations. And then because they're exponential equations and there's nothing being added or subtracted, I can just divide one equation by the other. So I'm going to actually divide this equation by 60 on both sides, but since 60 is equal to a times b to the 1, it's going to look more like this. Okay, so basically I divided the top equation by the bottom equation. So the a's will cancel out for you, and that's nice. And then we know we can go b cubed divided by b to the 1 gives me b squared, because you can subtract these exponents. You can go 3 minus 1 is 2. And then 135 minus 60, I just stuck it in my calculator. It gave me, 135 divided by 60 gave me this in my calculator. This is b squared. I square rooted both sides, and I found that b was 3/2. So now we know what b is. We know what b is. So we can plug b in. I think I decided to plug it into right here, because see, we have 60 equals a times b to the 1. So b to the 1 is just b. So that's why I got 60 times a to the 3/2. And then to get a by itself, I can multiply both sides by 2/3. So I said this side divided by 2/3, it cancels out my fraction. This side divided by 2/3, I did fraction math, like 3 goes into itself once, it goes into 60 20 times. 20 times 2 is 40. So I got 40. And so I know that's A. And I already said B was 3/2, so I just wrote it, and this is my equation. So this is your answer for 7-35 letter A. And then to do letter B asks us, according to your model, on what day did Ryan get his first chicken pox mark? So his first chicken pox mark. So that means his first pox mark is going to be the number of pock marks is the Y. So that means I'm going to want to put a 1 in for Y, because Y is how many pockmarks. So I just substituted 1 in for Y because it's first pockmark. And then this is just my equation that I found from letter A. And now I have to solve it. So I'm just going to divide. I just want to get this X down, but first I have to isolate it. So I'm going to divide both sides by 40. And now I can log both sides of the equal sign. And now that there's a logarithm involved, I can use the power property of the logarithms to let the X come out front. So that's why I have it written as X times log of 3/2 right here. But then I decided to divide both sides by 3/2. Sorry, log 3/2 to get X by itself. And so X ends up being log of 1/40 over log of 3/2. I just put that in my little scientific calculator, and I got that X was about negative 9.09. So at first I thought, well, okay, it's a negative number, and that kind of makes sense because on November 1st, that's when he noticed that he had 60 pockmarks or whatever. So I have to count backwards from, like, the negative means I have to count backwards. And at first I counted back 9 days, and I got December 23rd. But really, it's like, it's a little bit more, it's almost 9 days, but it's a little bit more than 9 days that I have to count backwards. So it's really his first pockmark was very late in the day on December 22nd. Because if you count backwards, November 1st, then I just went December 31st, December 30th, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22. So I just counted backwards. So this is the answer to letter B.